We left the coast behind when I was 8. San Diego faded in the rear view, traded for the flat, empty plains of Colorado. I remember the wind biting through my jacket and how the sky never seemed to end. We moved to a town so small you could blink and miss it. The winters were brutal, ice on the windows, wind that howled all night. My brother Julian hated it more than anyone. Julian was 17, skinny as a rail, always hunched over a book or his old cassette player. He got his GED as soon as he could, packed everything into his battered Saab, and announced he was going back west. He left his ferrets with us, couldn't take them to California, not legally. He didn't make it far. The Saab gave out somewhere in the Rockies, engine coughing up black smoke. He was stranded in the dark, in a town so small it barely had a name. A tow truck pulled up, rusty, headlights flickering. The driver was a big guy, maybe late 40s, with a voice that rumbled like gravel. He offered Julian a ride to a motel, said he knew a place that was nicer than the Motel 6 down the road.
You don't want to stay there, kid. I wouldn't leave my dog in that place. There's a better spot just down the road. Same price, way nicer.
Julian said the place looked worse than the chain motel. Paint peeling, a sign half lit, and a pool in the middle of the parking lot, drained, cracked, like it hadn't seen water in years. He checked in and noticed the owners, a whole family, sat outside on plastic lawn chairs, staring at the motel rooms. Mom, Dad, a teenage daughter, a little boy. They didn't talk, just watched. The room was worse. The carpet was threadbare, the walls stained. The bathroom had a window, just 2 feet off the ground, right next to the toilet. No curtain, no frosted glass. Anyone outside could see straight in. There wasn't even a toilet paper holder. The roll just sat on a shelf, like they'd given up on fixing anything. Julian tried to sleep, but he said the silence was thick. Every sound felt sharp, pipes groaning, wind scraping the window. He kept glancing at the connecting door by his bed. The kind of door meant for families, 2 rooms, 1 hallway. But Julian was alone. He said he started hearing faint noises from the other side, soft, like someone shifting their weight. He said he got up, heart pounding, and opened his side of the door just a crack. There was a gap under the far door, enough to see a shadow. Someone was standing on the other side, not moving, just waiting. Julian closed his door, locked it, and pressed his back against the wall. He said he tried to convince himself it was nothing, maybe just another guest. But the shadow never moved. He told me he lay in bed, eyes on the ceiling, trying to ignore the feeling that he wasn't alone. The silence pressed in from every side. Somewhere in the middle of the night, he woke to a sound, metal scraping, soft at first. Then he realized it was the doorknob. Someone was trying to get in. He said he didn't move, just listened. The rattling stopped after a minute, but he didn't sleep again. Not really. The next morning, my mom and I drove up. The motel looked even worse in daylight. Paint flaking, weeds growing through the cracks. The pool was just a concrete pit. The family was still there, sitting in the same chairs, eyes fixed on the rooms. They didn't wave, didn't smile, just watched. We went to Julian's room. He looked pale, eyes sunken. He told us everything in a whisper, glancing at the walls like he thought someone was listening. My mom tried to talk to the owner. She said the conversation was strange, too many pauses, like the woman was choosing her words carefully. She wouldn't answer simple questions about the room or the bill. Inside the office, it smelled like old coffee and mildew. The daughter sat behind the counter, staring at us with blank eyes. There was a bell on the desk, but no one touched it. My mom squeezed my hand as we left. She whispered that something felt off, like we were being sized up, not just served. We went to check on Julian's car. The mechanic's shop was just as strange. Tools everywhere, parts stacked in corners, but no one working. The man behind the counter barely looked up.
Cost more to fix than it's worth. You'd be better off leaving it.
Julian didn't argue. He just nodded, eyes on the floor. I think he was relieved to have a reason to leave. We packed Julian's things and left the motel. The family watched us from their chairs, silent, eyes following us to the car. I watched the motel shrink in the rearview mirror. The family never moved, not even to wave. Julian barely spoke on the drive home. He just stared out the window, clutching his backpack. I think he was afraid to look back. That night, we talked in whispers at the kitchen table. My mom kept shaking her head, saying she'd never felt so unwelcome anywhere. Julian said he was just glad to be home. He never said what he thought the man behind the door wanted. He didn't have to. The fear in his eyes said enough. Sometimes, I dream about that motel, the empty pool, the window beside the toilet, the family watching. I wonder how many people passed through and never came back. We never went back to that town. Julian never tried to leave again. And sometimes when the wind rattles our windows at night, I wonder if there's still someone standing on the other side of a door, waiting. Maybe it was nothing, just a bad night in a bad place. But I don't think any of us will ever forget the feeling of being watched, or the silence that pressed in from the other side of that door.